Joe Biden is having interesting meetings at his home. He's now hanging out in Delaware, holding a quad meeting. They're not showing us much of what's happening here, but Biden is privately meeting with 3 other world leaders that make up this quadrilateral security dialogue, and he's doing it in Delaware, which is strange because Joe Biden's gone. The White House released statements acknowledging the Australian prime minister showed up, Japanese prime minister is there, Indian prime minister is there, taking place in the president's hometown of Wilmington. Very private affair that sparked outrage from the White House Correspondents Association. So the journos were like, what the hell? And there's a weird scene here. Joe Biden apparently doesn't even know who's at his house. Who's here right now? Has to introduce the Prime Minister of India. Doesn't even know who he is.
So I want to thank you all. Who's next?
Distinguished guests, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India.
So gone. Who's next out there? It's just the Prime Minister. Is it on your teleprompter, Joe? Why don't you look at your friggin' teleprompter? So embarrassing for our country. Like, it's embarrassing for our country. Who's next? The Indian Prime Minister's like, I guess I'm next. Total incompetence out in the lawn at Joe Biden's dementia facility. All right, great job. Quad force, we have no president, totally gone. Now, what's also interesting here is you may have seen this, but did you know if you're planning a trip right now, and many of you are, it's a nice time to travel, getting cooler. One place you should not go is Haiti or Springfield, Ohio. Here is what the State Department has released. Don't go to Haiti. Why? Kidnapping, crime, civil unrest, and limited health care is there. But you don't even have to go to Haiti because we bring Haiti here in Ohio. So you might want to stay away from that also. Since March 2024, Haiti's been under a state of emergency. Crimes, robbery, carjacking, assault, kidnappings for ransom. Kidnappings widespread. U.S. citizens have been hurt or killed. Kidnappers may plan carefully or target victims at random. Kidnappers will even target and attack convoys. Kidnapping cases involve ransom requests. Families have paid thousands of dollars to get their family back. Anyways, they're here now because of asylum or whatever. So that's what's happening. And we also have Congress, which is now telling us that they're going to give the Secret Service even more money, as we suspected. So Mike Johnson came back out. We're not going to get the SAVE Act, obviously, because the Senate's not going to do anything with this. And so he's just going to give the Secret Service that's already failed epically and has failed to even be held accountable. We're all for making mistakes, but when you cover it up and then lie to everybody about it, they're going to give them more money. The country's just cooked, basically. It's first of all, they also created another bill to give the Secret Service more jurisdiction, to give them scrutiny over a bunch of other people and provide protection to them so that they can get shot in the head too. So Johnson's new continuing resolution is going to fund the government through December 20th. And I'm so irritated about this because when Mike Johnson first came in and passed that other spending bill, we were here. We were criticizing it. It was like 2 years ago, or whatever it was, 6 months, whatever it was. But they set the credit card re-up contract right before the election. And if you remember, many of you were here, we were saying, what a bunch of morons. They're not morons. They did that intentionally so that when they have to spend a bunch of money, Johnson has to say, we don't want to be responsible for the shutdown. Do we, Republicans? Not in an election year. And then that gives him a basis for spending whatever they want. It's all just a show. And so they already set this up. This was set up years ago. And then he comes, he's like, oh gosh, guess we'll just spend more money. Now, to be fair, he does have some nice politics on this. Then he can come out, not on this issue, but he's had some other good issues, like politically, he's squeezing water out of a turnip or whatever, juice out of a turnip or whatever the phrase is. So he'll come back and he'll say, the Democrats want illegals to vote, or the Democrats don't want to deport sex offenders, or the Democrats, right, because the Senate is rejecting all of this stuff. If they reject it, then that gives him a political talking point. But it's just spending. It's just more spending, more money. There's no real accountability. What they should say is something like, what we'll do is we'll take this $231 million and actually we are going to defund the Secret Service of $231 million. And we're going to give this to private contractors who are going to now get government contracts for security at various events. And the Secret Service is going to be put on probation. And we're going to see if the private sector can do something better with the $3 billion that they spend every year, or whatever their budget is. I think it's $3 billion. Do you think that private security contractors could do a better job? Absolutely. And you give them some framework or something for that, but you threaten the Secret Service. We're going to defund you. If you want some money, you just do a better job, and you got to do this and set some metrics. And we want accountability. We want all of the records. Okay, we're Congress. Like, if you want this money, we have the power of the purse. We're Congress. You don't get the money until we get the records. They can't even keep their radios recorded, for crying out loud. It's insane. So they're going to get more money. No. Same thing with the FBI. No, you guys are done. Your budget's going to go to state law enforcement. States, it's called the FBI, going to go to state, the Department of Public Safety, and state AGs, and then if you're good, then maybe we'll give it back. If you give us our records, if you tell us what happened to the J6 pipe bomber, if you disclose to us how many federal agents you had there on January 6th, we'll give you some money. Otherwise, you're not getting any money. We're not going to limit the service. Like, we'll just give it to other private individuals or to the local people, but you don't get a blank check anymore. Johnson's new continuing resolution will fund the government through December 20th, after the election, set to be voted on less than a week before the deadline every time they do it. Johnson introduced the 3-month continuing resolution after his first funding bill, which, whenever that was. This is not a solution any of us prefer, he said. It's the most prudent path forward under the present circumstances. It's dummy. You put us in these circumstances. You did this a long time ago, and we were screaming about it. Oh, they're going to set this budget debate right before the election. How convenient is that? From now until election day, I'll continue my tireless efforts to focus on growing our majority. It's like such a disappointment. But we were expecting this. I'm not necessarily disappointed about. He's right. What's he going to do? Shut the government down right now? No, he can't do that. The Republicans would suffer for that politically. Trump's already winning. You don't want to make any fast, sudden movements when you're already in the lead. You just want to batten down the hatches and hold on to your lead. Yeah, they don't want to shut the government down. No, Republicans are going to want to do it. And then they'll just kick it down the road again. It's such a scam. And we saw this happening a mile away. We were here. We covered. Oh, interesting. How the budget expires October. Wow, that's fun. And he's doing it. He's doing it right here in front of our eyes. And the Secret Service, that's totally incompetent, is going to get even more money. Isn't that just outstanding? All right. So I got one story I want to share with you, and then we'll jump into your thoughts, your comments. But this is coming down the pike, too. And apparently next week, we have not been paying attention to this, but Smartmatic's defamation lawsuit against Newsmax is headed to trial. Similar type of situation is happening against Fox. And remember, Fox settled, fired Tucker Carlson, and then settled with Dominion over very similar claims. They did not go to trial. I think they paid out almost $1 billion. And then now Newsmax is going to go into Delaware September 30th. This would be a fun trial to see. I'd love to see Newsmax defend itself against Smartmatic and see some of this evidence come out. So this would be a ton of fun if it goes. A voting machine technology company, they might settle before, which means it may not go. Smartmatic says its reputation was damaged by false statements. Smartmatic says Newsmax provided a platform for its host, Trump, and others to falsely claim that the software was manipulated. The equipment was used solely in Los Angeles County in 2020, not in any of the swing states. Wow. So it was only in one county? So actually, maybe that's not as interesting. The claims were given ample airtime on Newsmax. Newsmax's own people repeatedly and intentionally lied to the public, they said. What's at stake? Smartmatic is looking for financial damages. They originally sought $1.7 billion. Now they want $400 to $600 million. A huge award could be fatal to Newsmax. Fox News settled this one with Dominion for $787 million. Earlier this year, Newsmax filed an initial public offering. So anyways, we'll keep our eye on that. I'd like to see some litigation with some of these companies to see what ultimately happened and dig into some of the evidence.